Hello students. Today in this class we are going to discuss about the positive and normative economics. In our last class also I have explained you that what is positive and normative economics, but today we are repeating this topic again. Students, might be there is a confusion in your mind that why we are saying this word as positive science and economic normative science. So I would like to tell you that economics can also be compared. We can say that economic is also as a science. As in science, what we need to study, what we study in science. The in short terms, we can say that in science we study about the cause and effect relationship. Okay, what are the causes of all the things that are happening in the environment around the surroundings of our environment? So and what are the effects of anything that is existing in the environment we used to study in physics, chemistry and biology. So just like that, in economics also we used to study about the cause and effect relationship, the causes of different economic problems, what are the causes of different problems that everyone is facing by living in an economy, and what are the effects of different problems in the economy and on our lives also. So in this way we can say that economic is like a science. So on the basis of this we have divided or we have classified the economics into two categories: positive science and normative science. What are the statements of positive science? It is what is, what was, and what will be. Or we can say that in positive science, everything is based upon the actual facts, that what is going on in the economy exactly, what was exactly there was in the economy, and what will be in the economy. They are very much sure. And in normative science, the statements are what ought to be, or what should happen, or what should have happened. They don't deal with the actual conditions or actual facts in the economy. They always try to give the suggestions and they are very idealistic in nature. Okay. So as we are studying economics, so we have given the term science, we have given the term economics in place of science: positive economics and normative economics. So we will study in detail with the help of a difference. What is the meaning of positive science? It deals with what is or how the economic problems are actually solved. The word actually is given here. It studies with what is happening in the economy and what is the problem, exact problem, and how these problems are actually solved. For example, if I say that population in India is rising, so yes, it is the actual fact that population of India is rising. There is no if and but in this information. And how we can solve, how the how the problems are actually solved, it deals with that statements only. But normative economics, it deals with what ought to be or how the economic problem should be solved. They always try to give their suggestions that what ought to be, what is it is not their matter of concern, but what ought to be, क्या होना चाहिए था, और कोई भी इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व होनी चाहिए थी. They deals with that condition. Verification, second basis is verification. We can differentiate that in positive economics it can be verified with actual data. All the statements that we are studying, all the things that we are studying economics, positive economics, can be verified. Yes, it can be verified because we have studied that everything in positive economics is based upon the actual data. Okay, we deal with the facts, not with the assumptions. So that's why, as actual data is present in front of us, so it can be easily verified. We can easily verify with the actual data that is present in front of us. But in normative economics, it cannot be verified with actual data, because we know that everything is based on assumptions and judgments. So it is not possible to verify it. Okay, if I say that the marks of a student in unit test 1 is 25 out of 30. Okay, so it is the actual data. Anyone can verify with the mark slip or with the report card or even with your subject teachers that what are the exact marks that I have scored. So it is the statement of positive economics, it can be verified. But if someone is saying that you have scored, might be you have scored 25 or might be you have scored 29, we are not sure. So it cannot be verified because it is just an assumption, it is just an illusion that you are making the judgments or making the assumptions. So this statement cannot be verified because actual data is not present. What is the purpose of positive economics? It aims to make real description of an economic activity. It helps us in making the real description that what is the real picture of our economy or of any other economy for which we are studying, because everything is based upon actual and real facts. So it is very easy to make the real description of an economic activity. But in normative economics, as we know that everything is based upon the judgments and illusions only, so that's why it aims to determine the ideals. It is very idealistic in nature. We cannot get the real picture or a true picture of an economy. What is the suggestive basis? That in positive economics, it is based upon facts and does not suggestive. As I have told you, that in positive economics, only actual facts are concerned. Okay, so there is no suggestions given on any economic problem. So it is not suggestive. But normative economics is suggestive in nature. They always try, the economists in who are studying this normative economics, who are dealing with the normative statements, they always try to give their suggestions and opinions. So that's why it is suggestive in nature. Value judgment. Fifth one is value judgment. It does not give any value judgments. It is neutral between ends. What is neutral? That it does not involve any value judgment. It does not give any judgment on a particular situation. It is neutral. What is actually is happening in the economy, it is neutral. Okay, for example, I am saying that there is a match, okay, between India and Pakistan. It is going to be held on 25th of May. So it is actual, it is a fact that yes, that match is going to be held on 25th May. So it is neutral. It will not give any judgment that why it is happening, or it should not be happened, or it should be the match between India and Bangladesh, not between the India and Pakistan. So it is very much neutral, okay, balanced. But in normative economics, it gives value judgments. They always try to give their judgments that the match should be on 26th May instead of 25th May. They don't rely on the actual facts that yes, the match is on 25th May, then it's okay. Why we are giving our suggestions? Even the suggestions will not work anymore. They always try to give their judgments. Example of positive economics, that prices in Indian economy are constantly rising. Yes, it is the actual facts that prices are actually rising, and we can also verify this data by seeing the prices of different commodities. But the example of normative economics is India should take steps to control rising prices. They will give their suggestions, should take, but what are the exact steps they should take? They will not give the exact suggestion. There are inequalities income in our economy. Yes, it is the actual fact. The economy has been divided into rich and poor in India. But normative economics will deal with income inequality should be reduced. They will give that what should be. They will not deal with the actual condition. So I hope these 6 points are very much clear to you, and this is a very important topic from the exam point of view also. Now coming to the next topic, students, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. It is the main topic. It is the name of your book that you are studying in 11th. So what is microeconomics? Before explaining you the meaning of micro and macro, I would like to tell you that before 1930, there was only one economics. As I have told you that economics is not a new subject. People are studying this subject from very old time. Okay. But before 1930, there was only one economics. The subject was only economics. There was no micro, no macro. But as we are seeing that the wants of the peoples are increasing, the problems in the economy are increasing. So it becomes very difficult to study the economics as a whole in one part only. So that's why the economics had been divided into two branches, and the word micro and macro have been given by Ragnar Frisch. He was an economist who coined the words micro and macro in 1933. Okay, so who coined the words micro and macro? Ragnar Frisch. He has divided the economics into two branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. So what can we say? That micro and macro are the two branches of economics. Economics is the branch of social science, and micro and macro are the branches of economics. So let us understand the meaning of microeconomics first. What is micro? The word micro is derived from the Greek word micros. Students, it is a Greek word. Okay. In English, the meaning of micro is small. Microeconomics deals with small segments of the society. As I have told you in the earlier class that in economics we study about the economic problems. Okay, so economic problems can be related to a economic problem can be related to a single man also, but it is the economic problem of the whole economy also. So we have divided these problems into two parts. In microeconomics, we will study the economic problems related to the small segments of the society only, as the word itself suggests, micro. So we will also study the economic problems at the level of small or related to the one individual unit only. Here is the definition. Microeconomics is defined as the study of behavior of individual decision making units. Individual here refers to consumer or the owners or the producer or different firms. We will study the economic problems related to a single unit only. We will not study the economic problem related to the economy as a whole. For example, we are studying that what is the thinking of a particular producer while he is producing a commodity. So it is the problem of microeconomics. But if we are studying that what are the problems of all the producers producing in the country as a whole, so that will be a part of macroeconomics study. So in microeconomics we only study about the behavior of individual decision making units only. Okay, now what is macroeconomics? Macro is also a Greek word. It is derived from the Greek word macros. In English, it means large. So the word here itself suggests that in macroeconomics is defined as the study of economic problem as a whole, such as problem of full employment, GNP I will explain you. It is a part of macroeconomics, etc. So this macroeconomics is another book which you will study in class 12th. In class 11th, only you have to study about the meaning and what is the difference between micro and macro. Okay. So what is macro? In macroeconomics, we will study the economic problems as a whole. Okay. It deals with aggregative economic. Aggregative means the totality of the factors. Okay. If we are studying the economic problems as a whole, what is the economic problem as a whole? So it will be the part of macro. But if we are studying the economic problem related to one single unit only, that will be the part of microeconomics. So students, in our next class, we will study the difference between micro and macro. Till then, please read the topics again. Thank you.